When you head home that night, you said, you should have left the arena afterwards. So you're only 90 minutes from home. No big deal. You're home early. When you get there, is your phone blowing up with guys from the past, whether it's Tully or JJ, or do you think at that point, everybody in the business just sort of assumes, oh, it's a work, he'll be back?
Yeah, I didn't have really any of that because I think everybody out there thought it's an angle.
Right. Well, let's talk about that because for better or worse, it sort of felt like it would be an angle the very next week because here in this promo, as you heard, Kurt accepts the position and he finally becomes a member of the Four Horsemen. And we know that's not going to last long. The next week though, you get to TV and, well, when do you find out that the plan is for Kevin Nash to mock the promo that you did 1 week prior?
Well, I get back still on the buzz of now during the week. I do have some phone calls and people are, my friends that are really my friends that I've kept all along are going and they go, that was the damnedest promo I've ever heard, or my God, and you outdid yourself, or whatever the comments were. They were all really positive. And I'm telling each one of them individually, well, it wasn't a promo. It's a shoot, and so that kind of filled the week. And I got to the arena and I got some more of that. And then I find out they've got this beautiful package that they call me in the truck that they say they want to, hey, here's a tribute package. And man, I've never been treated that way in the business. I've never been the guy they singled out to try to make feel special or, be the flagship guy or be the number one guy in the company or even if just for a moment, I had never had all that pomp and circumstance around me. So it was a big deal. It really was. And I was very thankful and kind of glowing. And then I start, hearing, chinks of, okay, well, there's going to be something. They're going to really shoot a heavy duty angle tonight, but nobody's giving you, there's just bits and pieces. Nobody called us in and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Then you start to hear that nWo is going to do a parody of you. And you just get a little bit, it's supposed to be a big surprise. This is going to be a earth shattering deal. And they're kind of kayfabing the boys and kayfabing everybody.
So you don't know about it until you see it on TV?
I know it's going to be something, but I don't know what. They didn't bring me in and say, okay, Nash is going to go over the top and he's going to, he's going to dress up, and really this over the top stuff. And sometime during the day, I don't know who it was, somebody asked me, says, hey, you got your cooler in the car. We need to use it for something. Well, I never thought about the cooler. I had a cooler in my rent-a-car, dating back to the days of me and Bobby Eaton being partners, for God's sakes. We liked to cold beer when work was done. No question about that. So I didn't think anything about that, but no one ever called us in and said, how heavy this is going to get, any of the verbiage, any of that stuff. We just kind of knew they were going to put on some kind of parody and and that's it. I didn't get any specifics. I wasn't asked, which wasn't up to me. There was no, hey, do you approve of this? How do you feel about this? Or any of that stuff. None of that ever occurred. That conversation shouldn't have happened. And it wouldn't have happened because, again, I was getting paid to do a job. Whatever they required of me, that's what I would do. I didn't know you couldn't say, you could say no. I say that a lot, but I didn't know that you could say no. So did I have a script in front of me knowing what was coming? No, I did not.
So of course we're talking about a promo that happened on September 1st, 1997. You guys are in Pensacola, I believe. And Kevin Nash goes to the ring and he's got some makeup on and he's got some stuffing in his shirt and he's trying to look like Arn Anderson with the classic glasses, and the rest of the nWo is dressed up to sort of mock the look. And he's got a styrofoam cooler like you would get at a convenience store under his arm. And as you heard Arn say, that was actually Arn's cooler, but he didn't know what the plan was. And Nash says, I take care of horseman business, but before I go any further, let all the horsemen here know one thing. Guys, the beer's on ice. It's pretty ironic that on Labor Day, WCW would decide to honor me, because anybody who's followed my career knows one thing. You were always wondering when I was going to go into labor. I sat back that day and I watched the highlight tape of my career. And I said to myself, you know, I'm a guy of average size, average speed, average quickness, average looks, average intelligence, average carpentry skills. But you know what? I parlayed that into a wrestling career that I might say so myself was quite excellent. But you know something, 4 months ago, I had a neck injury. Subsequently, I lost feeling in my hand, my left hand. The significance of that, that's the hand I opened beer with. But you know something, I willed myself back from that injury and I got to the gym. I didn't do anything there. I just walked around, but I got to the gym and you know what? I started to come back. But about a week ago, I went to the neighborhood bar. I bellied up against the bar like only I can. And a fat broad, that's right, a fat broad came up and smacked me in the back. And that sent a chill down my spine. Same fat broads that have been following the Horsemen for 20 years. But as I looked at that long neck laying on that cheap industrial gray carpentry, I said to myself, how ironic. That wasn't so much that I was out $3.75. It was sand ticking through the hourglass, and everybody knows. So these are the days of our lives. At this point, are you watching this promo on a monitor in the back? What are you thinking as you realize he's mocking your career, your, drinking habit, your, looks, your injury? He's way over the top, as you said.
Well, you know, let me be the first to admit, I've got a drum, which I'm pretty proud of. I got a belly. I got a rotten hairdo. God has given me these albatrosses and crosses to bear. That's no big deal. I don't think it's any big secret. And it's also not a big secret that I like to drink in those days. I didn't drink any more than anybody else. Well, yeah, maybe I did. But that's just because I could drink more than everybody else. I never brought it to work. I never brought it on my job. I never did anything alcohol-wise before I worked. It was always after. I want to make that clear. And it felt like to me, if you really wanted to get heat on this promo, and this is just me structuring it versus the way it was structured, you would have went after the hand. You would have made fun of the hand, something that was very real that everybody could see was paralyzed. And in the old days, hey, being pretty much a career heel, you know, I believed in getting heat because it sold tickets. My problem with the deal was them leaning so heavily on the alcohol for all the people that might not have known me or the people that thought they knew me. It made me out to just be this complete and total drunk, which was not the case. It didn't venture out anywhere other than just leaning so hard on the alcohol. And that's what my wife said. She said they made you just look like a stupid drunk.
Before we get to you talking to Aaron, let me finish the rest of the promo. He said, you know, one thing you can say when Arn Anderson was coming to town, besides the fact that I left a lot of unpaid bar tabs, was Arn Anderson was coming to town. And you knew if I was on the card, I was going to give you 100%, no matter how drunk, no matter how hungover I was going to give you all I had. And back in those days, before the nWo, you 8 people that bought tickets got one heck of the show. And you know what? As I come out here tonight, I ask you people, don't remember how I used to be. Remember me how I look right now. And that puts me to you. Wait a second. I don't want to fight you because I ain't won for 20 years. What I got for you is a challenge, because as much as I want to be a horseman, I know if I come out here right now, I'd not only put him in danger, I'd also put my best friend in danger, and I can't do that. So what I'm doing tonight is I got a challenge for you. I ain't got much to offer you because the beer's already spoken for. But what I do got is a spot with the Four Horsemen, not just a spot, not a liver spot, not a spot like your dog spot, not just any spot, but my spot. So I need to know right now, do you accept it? My spot, not a liver spot, not a dog spot, not anybody's spot, my spot to become a Four Horseman, not my spot, anybody's spot, liver spot, my dog spot, my spot. Total mockery, total burial. And, I gotta know, are you in Gorilla watching this on a monitor? Are you sitting next to Rick when this is going down? Where are you backstage? How are you seeing this? Who are you with? And what's the reaction of everybody around you?
I don't remember what room I was in when I was watching it. But I watched it, and, like I said, them leaning so heavy on the alcohol, okay, what's going through my mind? Well, the whole thing, every bit of it on Kevin's part was about the booze. So I'm thinking, okay, now the people that don't know me, do they think that's who I am? They think I'm some guy that just drinks all day. The people that do know me are wondering, God, does this guy have a side that we don't know about? Because it was so self-centered around the booze. We got a few rules or laws, or we used to have in this business that we stuck to. When you're doing a promo, you don't bring people's families into it. You never say fat,
old,
too small, old. You don't use any of these, adjectives towards people, because guess what? In the end, if these people work there and they are small, or they are old or young, or they all fat, or they washed up, or whatever those versions are, when you start saying that, there's a pretty good chance that fat guy's going to beat you, or that little guy is going to beat you. So how does that make you look? You always, on your promos, would try to figure out a way to enhance your opponent, to put your opponent over. Don't talk about his weaknesses. Work to his strengths and feature those strengths so that you build a fight, you build a contest. And just burying a guy with one frame of mind in mind, which is the drinking, that's what infuriated me. Not that there was an attempt to get heat. You could have sat down and you could have showed a swiveled up hand that couldn't hold anything. You could have done anything that would have got legitimate heat. I think what you had was like a Saturday Night Live sketch on TV, and those that got it. Those that didn't. Let me just say, hey, been a lot of nights that I probably showed my ass drinking. No question about that. But the fact is, it never entered into my business. It was never part of my business, and they made it part of my business because to the naked eye, you didn't really look at what you're, seeing. You didn't realize at the time this is just some skit. It's like the company's trying to send a message to a guy.
So